you guys have all this stuff going on, all these different branches, all these different employees. How did it all begin?
How do we start? That's back to the beginning. That's a great question. I think you and I met back in 92.
Russell and I met in 1983. We're actually roommates in Orlando, in Apopka, Florida. And so we had started the business back then. And
what was the house like back then?
It was, they made a movie about it. I think it was called Animal House. Todd looked at me and said, "Did you ever think about starting your own company?" And I looked back at him and said, "Yeah, I thought about it." And about a minute later he said, "How come you didn't do it?" And I looked at him and I said, "Because I never had anybody that I wanted to do it with." And about 60 seconds later I hear this, "How about me?"
I've forgotten about that. You were working in that old wooden house
And
all by yourself?
So that's really where the ball started to roll. And one thing I insisted on was a third partner. So we started looking around. And I ran into my ex-roommate over at a get-together on a Saturday morning and said, "Would you like to open your own mortgage company?" And all I heard was, "Hell yes."
Yeah.
So I went home and called him immediately.
Yeah.
All he could hear was a scream coming out of the phone.
Yeah. I do remember when Russell called me. He called me on a Sunday morning. Remember, I said, "Hey man, what's up?" Wasn't like him to call me at 8:15 in the morning on a Sunday morning. "Hey, what's up?" And he goes, "Brett flipping Lindquist is what's up." And I was like, "You're kidding me." No, because I used to run into this cat out on the streets all the time, out making calls, and he would always seem to be there like 10 minutes before me. "Oh, Brett was just in. Oh, Brett was just in." I'll never forget this one time. I don't know if you remember. Halloween time, I come around and I'm bringing out information. I was big on, instead of rate sheets and donuts, that was a big thing back in the day. I would bring information to these realtors on how to sell more houses and yada yada. So here's my little Halloween little memo or whatever that I put together. They said, "Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, Brett was just in here. He was dressed as the Incredible Hulk. He had body paint on him and the whole bit." I'm like, okay, that's great. And I knew when I walked out that my piece of paper got thrown away.
Yeah, so I had this gorilla chest on that was spray painted green. Spray painted my hair green, so it was.
I remember running into him all the time. So when you had called and said Brett Lindquist is what's up, I thought, wow, that's it. Met him at the first time at your house, and I was on his step, and I was the same height. I was at the same level, eye level with you, and that's the first time I met you. I think back about our rides back then, and I think you have the same ride, don't you? When we first started.
I've still got the car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it out in the parking lot?
No, the Beamer's at home in the garage, but I'm bringing it to the gala.
Yeah.
I'm showing up in the Beamer.
But you park that thing right up front. I remember when we had the list of names on the piece of paper. We all said, "Hey, let's go home and figure it out. Our next meeting next Monday. Let's pick a name out." And it was ironic. We all kind of picked on the name of the mortgage firm, and as we said, all right, that's it. Russell got to work on filing all the paperwork. We got our money together, like he had mentioned, and went down and made our deposit into the Orange Bank, was it? Bank of Winter.
Wasn't it Bank of Winter Park?
Bank of Winter Park, yeah.
And we actually have our copy of our deposit slip out in our lobby.
Yeah. So we started it as a lender, as a correspondent lender at the time. The barriers of entry were a lot easier back then. We didn't have to have as much cash as lenders have to have right now. But we were able to come in as a lender under some of the new rules, and we started growing to the company. And so you were down there for, I guess, about a month or so.
Yeah, so I was sitting all by myself for about a month saying, "Hey, are we going to be doing this thing or not?" So I'm sitting in this office space, and it's just me. And I'm not good at paperwork. I like doing loans.
Who inked the first application?
It was probably him.
Probably must have been me.
Yeah. He was down there all by himself. He said, you guys are coming down, right?" "Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll be down there in a couple of weeks."
I thought they were fooling me for a while. I was kind of a shell company, you know?
Yeah. That was on Lee Road,
Lee Road.
the Hubbard Construction Building. And so finally the three of us rolled on the scene, and then we realized we needed somebody.
We needed processing.
Yeah, and then we had Kim join us.
So we had Kimberly, my daughter at the time, Kimberly Di Pasquale, who, by the way, I think is going to be at the party Saturday night. So it'll be great to see her.
So there we were, the four of us. Now what? I remember when Sherry came in to interview, I said, yeah, we want to put this closing department together. She started asking me questions, and I said, I don't know. She'd ask me another question. I have no idea. She'd ask me a third. Yeah, she worked at Barnett Bank, I think, at the time. And I don't know. I have no idea. She goes, do you have a closing department put together now? I said, no. She goes, do you really know how to put this together? I said, no, I don't.
No.
She goes, okay. And she welcomed the challenge, and she took it on. Those were the days, and I think about how we took off from there. And man, there was nothing that we didn't try in this business. We got our wholesale platform going in '97.
Oh no, we had our first credit line. We had a $750,000 credit
Yeah.
line, so we could close one or two loans, and then we had to immediately get them sold.
Right.
To clear it up to be able to do some more work. But we were early on that.
Yeah, we were. Nobody really knew it was called warehouse line. It's still called warehouse lines of credit. Nobody really knew what those were. You know, that's what they call it today. And so yeah, we got our first 750 line. We thought, man, that was in '97, I think, right? '96, '97, something like that. And put all of our focus on our wholesale platform, which Kim Bragg ended up running.
AMS.
Yeah, AMS.
So we did a lot of foreign nationals, a lot of Alte. That's when that was big, and then that market tanked basically. And so we had this one branch in Altamonte. We were building it up with we probably had 25, 30 salespeople, and then as the market started tanking, a lot of the salespeople got out of the business.
I remember one of the other things we did, Kim and I over at AMS, we formed a division called Bankers Solution, and we went out and we called on banks, and we wanted them to refer their business to us, and we developed all these systems and processes.
That I didn't work either.
That idea didn't work. You know why? Because the bankers, they don't know how to sell. They do not know how to originate loans. It was pretty. We got in there. We spoke with all these bank presidents who were concerned about risk and liability and all that, and we took all that fear off of their minds, and we put ourselves out there to originate loans. And okay, we're ready to go. And nobody stepped up to the starting line. So yeah, that one didn't go too well either. Yeah.
Nope.
But you know, that was a good run for that AMS for about 9 years, and then like we were speaking earlier, I mean that whole side of the industry just imploded. Everybody that's probably watching this has fond memories of those days. It was a change of times for sure.
Breaking news here. Stocks all around the world are tanking because of the crisis on Wall Street.
There is a little bit of a consternation down here about there being no bell. Our market reporters are standing by. Bob Pisani, have you ever seen anything like no bell?
Yeah, that's a little strange here. We're down 1.7% here, a loss of 37 points or so. Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets.
Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%.
We're down over 16%.
Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%.
The stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down 43%.
Look at the move in Aussie yen just this week. This was 1 week, Maria. This market took 5 years to go higher. It's now down 40%.
What started in America last year has now spread to every part of the world.
We're down 9% today. The Xetra DAX over in Frankfurt is down by 9%. The Paris market down by 9%. Austria, which was briefly suspended earlier on in the day, is down by nearly 11%.
This market is as volatile as you'll ever see.
Traders saying this is the craziest day they have ever seen in these markets. Veteran traders saying they've never seen anything like it. The movement in oil prices so fast, so furious.
It's being called one of the biggest disasters in Wall Street history. Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old bank with control over $600 billion worth of assets, collapsed after rescue talks over the weekend failed.
It goes bankrupt that quick and the whole thing ends that quickly? That's a little hard. That's a little surprising.
everybody in this room made it through all that. Thank you very much. Before I forget though, there's three people we probably should thank. I'm going to start out with Marcy, my beautiful wife. Thank you, Marcy. And Cindy. And my beautiful wife, Carrie Stewart. Thank you, ladies, for putting up with us. We appreciate it. We used to grind. It was a tough time, but we got through it.
So when the market was crashing, we were in our fetal positions. They were rubbing our heads.
We were not cowered in the corner. I don't think we were anyway. At least I wasn't. Were you, Russell?
Yeah, I think I was.
He was walking around a little tight. But anyway, hey, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. We really, really appreciate you joining us. We have a lot of people that drove from different parts of the state. We've got some Tennessee people in the house. Thank you. We've got South Florida in the house. We've got Tampa in the house. Over there. We've got Altamonte Springs in the house. Clearwater in the house. St. Pete in the house. Mount Dora in the house. Tampa in the house. Tampa in the house. We've got Daytona Beach. Daytona. John Turner over in Rockledge. Got Lady Lake in the house. Christine in Lakeland. Bill Rapper. Where's Bill Ray? Boba? We got the house in the house. All right. Before we get into this
You guys sit down if you like.
Yeah, please. You know, this is a huge process. You wonder, you look at all these people and you're like, holy smokes, I didn't realize we had this many people working for this company. And that, I realize it every time we're on payroll when Russell's walking around nice and tight going, you see this number? Oh my gosh. So we do have a lot of people here, but this kind of shows you how many people are involved with the loan process. I mean, from the beginning to the end, there's a lot of people that are involved. So we'd like to start out and thank some of those people. From the admin people, front desk, all people that answer the phones, thank you very much. We've got our setup. We have our setup people, thank you setup people very, very much. We've got compliance and our QC people, thank you very much. Our awesome underwriting team. And don't forget the processors. Closing department. Right behind them are the people that do the shipping, the insuring, and post-closing. Give them a And then we have loan partners. I think we got some loan officers in the house. Spouses and partners and friends and dates, please stand up. So non-mortgage people. Can we give a round of applause, please? Thank you. We know what our wives had to put up with, so there's nothing that you all have to put up with. Thank you very much. Also, so we do want to have you stand up one more time, so everybody, every mortgage firm employee, mortgage firm only people stand up. You probably didn't realize you were going to get in shape while you're having dinner too, right? So everyone who's been with us, so stay standing, please, stay standing. So everyone that's been with us for more than a year stays standing. So everybody else, if it's less than a year, you can sit down. So everybody who's been with us for more than 3 years stays standing. 5 years, stay standing. 8 years, stay standing. How about 15 years, stay standing? You guys haven't changed a bit. Blue lines and Mary Rose.
what we wanted to show you all is just how fast it's been 5 years really since the majority of everyone came along with us. But I mean, this has been an incredible ride. But these guys have been our rock for forever, and we really appreciate it. But we really appreciate you all because we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't
for all you guys.
Can I get a microphone, please?
So this is the point where we're kind of put this presentation together. We thought, Brett and I thought, well, let's talk about our goals for the next 20 years. Let's put this out there. Let's talk about everything we got accomplished. And we did this, we did that. We started to talk to Russell about it, and Russell says, boring. So it is kind of boring talking about that. Yeah? So we'd like to probably thank some sponsors in the room right now. We've got some people that drove from different parts of the state. We've got some people that came in from different parts of the country, if I understand correctly. But first up, Angela Capone and Randy Gazinski from Radio. Quick little side story. Angela there, Capone, get the last name Capone, it's true. She came in asking for business. I just gave it to her. But we've known them for a long, long time, and how we picked our sponsors was we picked our sponsors from people that we've been doing business with for a long time, and that was important to us because we could have loaded the boat and had all these title companies and all these people around, but we just want to be very selective in who we brought on. She's hired a great rep, Randy, there, and they've just done a phenomenal job repping us. A quick side story with Angela Capone. She's got this big title. What are you, national sales region? Big title, right? Big gun in this company. And I remember in our darkest of days, when the news clips were playing earlier, darkest of days, the three of us are out originating loans. We're doing what we can, got our blinders on to get through all this. And out of the blue, nobody was out making calls. All the salespeople were fired and let go and all that. But I tell you, Angela Capone came into my office one day. She was out making calls, and she asked for business, and we started giving her more and more business. But hats off to her for being out there grinding. Nobody else was. We've been loyal to her ever since. And Radiant, thank you very much.
Our next sponsor is Tim Burns and his beautiful bride. Tim is a spectacular appraiser in this market, and just a quick story, Tim and I met probably 25, 30 years ago. It was a long time. He was actually a server in a restaurant. I was a young mortgage guy trying to make a buck, and we just started talking. He got in the appraisal business, and we've been friends ever since. And dude, you've been rocking the house for us. We really appreciate it.
Another sponsor of the house, Mr. Mark Tetta. Mark, your legs broken? Come on, stand up, buddy. And
his beautiful bride is in the house with him. So.
Thank you for driving up to South Florida. So, Mark started doing business with us back in, what, 95, 96. He used to work for another company that's no longer in business. It had nothing to do with Mark, trust me. But that's how we came to know Mark. He's been very instrumental in helping us to grow in different markets. He is good at passing our name out there to other companies. In fact, the Kissimmee branch. Kissimmee branch. That's all that came to be. Mark, thank you so much. But he's just been a great resource, great tool. You're a good friend, a good business partner. We appreciate you a lot.
As you can see, this is a big thank you to everybody here in the room. I mean, from the heart. Thank you. Thank you.
No. Thank you, guys.
Drink, enjoy, and well known. Take it away.
You guys have a great night tonight.